In this video, I am going to be guiding you through Chapter 2.4, Internal and External Communication. Here are the syllabus statements. So what is the importance of effective communication? As communication occurs when a message is transferred from one person to another, the instructions have to be clear. And this speeds up decision making within the business, and this ensures that all customers are well informed of the products or the business activity. This increases productivity for the business. This ensures that all employees are aware of the objective, and also it reduces barriers to communication. So what are the benefits and limitations of communication methods? Internal communication is communication that is carried out between two or more members of the same organization. This is between departments. This could be an email to all staff internally. This could be a notice board inside the business, and also a signboard within the business. External communication is when communication is carried out between the organization and other organizations and individuals. This could be between other businesses or suppliers, or sending information to customers, or advertising their products on TV or other forms of marketing. One-way communication is when the receiver has no chance to reply or respond to the message. These include presentations, announcements, voice messages, and newsletters. Two-way communication is when the receiver is able to give a response or feedback to the message received. This includes a letter, email, telephone call, video, and face-to-face conversation. Now moving on to the methods of communication. Verbal communication involves the sender of the message speaking to the receiver. These include face-to-face conversations, telephone calls, video calls, and meetings. The advantages of verbal communication is that it is quick and efficient, there's an opportunity for feedback, and also the speaker can reinforce the importance of the message. The disadvantage of this is that it could take a long time if a discussion is being made, and also there is no written record. Written communication involves the sender of the message speaking to the receiver. This includes letters, emails, text messages, and notice boards. The advantages of written communication is that there is evidence of a message, details or very specific details can be included, copies can be made and sent, and it is very cheap. The disadvantages of this is that there is no instant feedback with written communication, and it is impossible to ensure that the message has been received by the recipient. And long message may cause disinterest in the message or the communication. Visual communication includes diagrams, charts, videos, and presentations. The advantages of visual communication is that it is easy to present complex information in an attractive way, and is used along with written materials, usually in the presentation. The disadvantages of this is that there is no feedback given by the receiver and may not be understood if interpreted incorrectly. So now we move on to the circumstance of which communication method should be used. The first factor is speed. If the information is required quickly, then a telephone call should be made, such as a cancelled meeting. If speed is not important, then a letter or an email should suffice. Cost. If the company wishes to keep costs down, using letters, phone calls, and face-to-face would be sufficient. But if money is no element, then a high-quality visual communication along with a presentation should be the best option. The details in the message is also important too, as written communication should be used if it is very important, such as legal documents. It also depends on the leadership style. So if an autocratic leader, usually they would select a one-way communication method, and a democratic leader would select a two-way communication method. The receiver is also important too, as if there's only one receiver, then a telephone conversation or a face-to-face conversation would suffice. However, if there are multiple receivers, Whether it's tens or the hundreds, then an email or a notice would be better. It also depends whether a written record is required, such as legal documents or receipts for a customer. It also depends whether feedback is important using the medium of communication, such as verbal conversation or telephone conversation. When the circumstances are more formal, then the message will be sent through established channels, using professional language through reports, emails, and official meetings. In informal circumstances, casual everyday language can be used, and this is usually used for unofficial casual business meetings. Now, moving on to demonstrating an awareness of communication barriers and how to overcome them. Our first barrier is the problem with the sender. This could be use of complex language, jargon, or technical terms that not everybody would understand, speaking too fast, and conveying the wrong message being communicated, and maybe the message itself is too long and detailed. How do we overcome this? The sender could use simple language to avoid the jargon and technical terms. They could ask for feedback until the message is clear and understood. They can ensure that the right person is receiving the message, and to ensure that all messages are brief and on point. The next is the problem with the medium used. As the message may be lost, they could be using the wrong channel of communication for the right message. Messages could be altered due to the long chain of command, and a breakdown of the medium could happen. How to overcome this barrier? People should insist on feedback or send a follow-up message just to ensure that the message is clear. Senders must use an appropriate channel. If it is an important message, then a phone call would be the best option. They need to select the shortest channel to ensure that the message is not altered, and use other forms where possible. The next barrier is the problem with the receiver, as they might not be paying attention. They might be unwilling to act on the message, and they might be too busy to act on the message because of other pressures inside the business. To overcome this, it is important that the message must be emphasized. An employee may choose to use another sender who is respected within the business, and then they could send a follow-up message. And the last barrier to communication is that there is no immediate opportunity for feedback. And how this barrier is overcome, that there is a possibility that there was no opportunity for feedback, and the medium of communication did not make feedback possible. So the solution is to use an alternative method of communication. Now, moving on to the solved examination questions. Please be reminded that I have paper 1 and paper 2 exam tricks and tips playlists in the description below. Explain 2 methods of IT-based communication RBG might use with its employees. Method 1, email. This will allow RBG to send their messages to their 600 employees, providing a written record. Method 2, telephone. This will allow RBG to call their employees at the oil company, and it will allow for a two-way conversation. Identify 4 reasons why effective internal communication is important for a business. Reason 1, motivation. 2, coordination. 3, efficiency. And reason 4, increased output. Do you think that the lack of feedback is the main barrier to effective communication in the business? Justify your answer. A lack of feedback will mean that there's no indication of the message being received, which results in the wrong decision being made. Another one would be too much jargon because or using technical terms. As a result of this, the receiver will not clearly understand the instructions, which will lead to inefficiencies. Using jargon is not the main barrier, as if it is sent to the right person, they will understand the technical terms and jargon. The main barrier then is the lack of feedback. This is because they will not know if the message was unclear or even sent. which results to a lack of feedback to the stakeholders, impacting the reputation of the business. Explain 2 reasons why effective communication might be important to BGR. Reason 1. Carry out instructions clearly, and as a result of this will lead to an accurate supply of popcorn. Reason 2. To motivate employees, as clear communications will lead to clearer instructions, improving the efficiency of the workforce in their new location. Explain 2 possible methods of internal communication that is a small business could use to inform workers about a possible expansion. Justify which method should be chosen. Email is the best way, as it allows employees to save a copy of the message, which they can read and fully understand at a later date. A meeting is the best way to inform employees, as they can clarify any concerns, allowing for additional ideas, comments, and decisions. Email is not the best way for a small business, as not everyone may have internet access. Therefore, I think that meetings are the best way for a small business, as it is easy to set up with all staff due to low employee count. This will allow the business to emphasize to the employees the importance of the expansion. I hope that helped. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye bye.